Hello, loyal listeners, and welcome to the SOS-Radio Podcast, the show with no agenda, no narrative, and sometimes no direction. My name is Jason Knight, president and founder of Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies, and your host into the unknown. I'm joined, as always, by my fellow SOSers and brothers in arms, Mr. Dave Black, hey. SOS co-founder and Claire Sensitive.
What up?
Mr. Joe Erie, SOS member and Claire Sensitive.
Hello.
Today we are mobile. We've been promising that we were going to take this show on the road to a really cool, infamous location known as the Bridgewater Triangle. And here we are, guys. We did it. We said we were going to do it, and we did it.
Well, we're not there yet. We're in Syracuse.
East Syracuse, New York.
3 hours of sleep.
At a Marriott, East Syracuse, New York. Not a lot of sleep, kind of low energy, low vibe right now, but we wanted to get some stuff recorded for you guys, just kind of document where we've been, where we're headed. So why don't we do that? What did you guys think of the trip up here?
Actually, it went by fast.
I slept a lot of the way.
He talked in his sleep, too.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it took...
Something about Mario.
Yeah.
We won't get into detail, though.
No details. It took about 10 and a half hours to get here to Syracuse. We have another 4.5 hours to drive tomorrow. Of course, right now it's August 25th. And on the 26th and 27th of August, we'll be reporting live from the Bridgewater Triangle in southeastern Massachusetts. Now, the Bridgewater Triangle is infamous. It's notorious for all of its paranormal phenomenon. From aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, poltergeist activity, black helicopters, ghost lights or will-o'-the-wisps, roaming balls of fire, murder, satanic activity, animal sacrifice, thunderbirds, giant snakes, and something called the Puckwudgie, too, which we'll talk about. All comes from this 200 square mile area in southeastern Massachusetts. Now, the apex towns, the towns that create this triangle form, this Bridgewater Triangle, are Abington to the north. This is all in Massachusetts. Abington to the north, Rehoboth to the southwest, and Freetown to the southeast. All three of those towns form the Bridgewater Triangle. What do you guys think? It seems with the triangle, either people know about it and they're terrified by it and it's, notorious, or they never heard of it.
I just can't wait to go and see myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm forever the skeptic. I was assigned the alien stuff.
That's right. Yeah, we all had assignments.
So, a lot of what I was seeing was just kind of UFO sightings. It didn't seem like anything terribly, not like Close Encounters of the Third Kind stuff. It was more of just reputable people seeing unusual objects in the sky, flying around and stuff, which I've always attributed to, military experiments or, private parties flying, machines that they made or whatever. Now, of course, in modern day, every UFO is probably a drone, But one of the most compelling ones I heard of was a couple of news reporters in 1972 saw an object that was described to look like a home plate, and it had lights on it, and just moved very slowly over them, and they saw it very, very closely. The one guy described it as being close enough to throw a rock at it.
Wow.
And
do you remember what town that was in within the triangle?
I can't remember. I know they were in a kind of an unincorporated wooded area.
Maybe Freetown State Forest.
Yeah, something like that. Essentially, they kind of kept it amongst themselves until they heard of other people describing the same thing, and they came forward with it. But like I said, there's nothing terribly compelling about pretty standard UFO sighting type of stuff.
Okay.
Nothing like crazy out of the ordinary or anything. UFO sightings just like you would have anywhere else in America.
Okay.
Which I've never doubted UFO sightings. I've always just attributed them to, government projects or whatever. Because I mean, if you, I don't know if there's any military bases out there. I imagine there probably are. I've always attributed it to various test aircrafts and things like that. I mean, before the stealth bomber came out for 10 years, before the stealth bomber was officially unveiled, people were seeing it as a UFO, a black wing in the sky, and all that kind of stuff. So I imagine a lot of the UFO sightings are simply that.
Yeah, experimental, military. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't say anything because I haven't been there yet. I can't wait to go, get a feel for myself. But the one thing I will tell everybody is there is a lot of fucking history there. I mean, a lot of history, documented history.
There is, yeah, and just to backtrack real quick, there is Westover Air Force Base and Hanscom Air Force Base, sort of close to that area in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So. Even speaking of of UFOs in the Hockomock Swamp, they have a thing called the ledge. Okay, and later on it turned into a quarry, but that's where Ronald Reagan supposedly saw the UFO.
Right. So I got to make a little correction there. There's so much stuff within this triangle, it's hard to keep it straight. The ledge is actually in the Freetown
State Forest,
not in the Hockomock Swamp. Just so you understand. But as part of the enigma of this triangle, there's so much paranormal activity, alien activity, cryptid activity, cryptozoological activity within this relatively small spot. It's hard to keep it all straight. And there's a few locations that we're going to be visiting on this trip, including what Joe Erie just mentioned, the Hockomock Swamp, which is the Wampanoag Indian tribe. That meant the place where spirits dwell. That's what Hockomock stood for. So the Native Americans, named this the place where spirits dwell.
Yeah, the settlers also called the Devil's Swamp.
The Devil's Swamp, fantastic. Probably the Hockomock Swamp is one of the ones that I'm most nervous to go into.
I can't wait. Where we're going tomorrow.
Yeah, and there we got Bigfoot sightings, thunderbirds. The big, giant.
And probably snakes and frogs for me to play with.
40-foot wingspan cryptozoological birds that people claim.
Oh yeah, we'll get into it later too.
Yeah, giant snakes. 8,000-year-old Native American Indian burial ground there in the Hockomock Swamp. Talk about 5,000 acres.
You want me to get into the Hockomock Swamp really quick?
I mean, if you could, just some high-level stuff. This is kind of just an introduction to this trip and some of the things we have planned.
Okay.
So if you want to talk about it real quick.
Well, I'll just throw out like one thing, like one of my favorite. Well, it was something that caught interest to me. For all basically all the fucked up shit that the settlers did to the Indians.
The Wampanoag, right?
Yeah.
The Wampanoag Indians.
They when they're recently dead, they would actually hold ceremonies and keep those the spirits in limbo. They wouldn't let them pass over to the other side because they wanted them to stay and haunt and that land. They wanted to protect the land.
The Indians did that to their own people?
Yeah, and in that cursed land. So they haunted and watched over that land, protected that land.
Well, it is, according to legend, an extremely haunted place. We're seeing people claim to see Native Americans in canoes, ghostly American Indians in canoes, Native Americans in canoes. Sorry, it's late. Kind of pushing a canoe through the swamp. They have ghost lights, spirit lights, will-o'-the-wisp. As I mentioned, the cryptids.
Fire.
Yeah.
Just fire. They say that they see a fire blazing. They get close and it's gone. They contribute that to they call it the ghost dance because they say that the ghosts, the Indians, have the fires and they dance around them.
Wow. I think they used to use it for communication, too, if I'm not mistaken. They would use signal by fire almost, to communicate with each other across an expansive area. We also have to watch out for giant, vicious, red-eyed dogs that they say prowl the Hockomock Swamp and are known to attack, pets in the surrounding area.
Yeah, there's a story too where they actually attacked a couple ponies. They ripped the throats out of a couple ponies.
Fantastic.
There's actually a hitchhiker, a phantom hitchhiker off, I believe it's like Route 44. People say they see. There's red orangutan type beings, similar to Sasquatch. There's
well, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like the Gigantopithecus. Gigantopithecus was and it's weird. I've talked to like archaeology students and anthropology students that have never heard of Gigantopithecus. Gigantopithecus was a hominid that died off about 20,000 years ago. They found a full skull of one of these things. It wasn't even a fossilized skull in a cave in China in 1994 or 96, something like that.
Wow.
It's the skull of a 9-foot-tall ape creature. It was described back then and kind of just swept under the rug. Nobody knows about it. But if you Google Gigantopithecus, it was a real, actual animal. And it didn't die off all that long ago. So
20,000 years. It's, in our evolution,
the big
it's
spectrum.
nothing.
And then if you look at sea creatures that we thought...
you read my mind.
We thought there was tons of sea creatures that we thought were extinct that, African fishermen have been eating for decades.
Right, yeah. It seems like
prehistoric sharks. Or,
seems like every year they're pulling up some new species.
The coelacanth fish, that was the big
Amazon.
one.
Another thing, remember how you were talking about black panthers or people seeing panthers or big phantom cats? That's another thing that the people say they see.
In the Hockomock Swamp?
Yeah, they say that they see giant tan cats. They see giant black cats. And sometimes they see them at the same time.
This is the thing. The tan cats, I can honestly say, like mountain lions, cougars have re-infiltrated North America. There's confirmed sightings all over from Tennessee to Kentucky to Indiana, Illinois, Michigan. There's been confirmed sightings all over the place of legitimate wild cougars.
Well, this is the one I'm worried about. There's so much that goes on here, so many unknowns. Not to mention snakes and quicksand and pitfalls and spiders, and I'm a little nervous. I got to be honest. I'm usually not too scared when we're out there exploring, but I'm a little nervous about this one.
And and who knows too? It's it's not.
I'm at home in the swamp. That's
well, good. You're going to be our guy.
I can't wait.
I love going to swamps.
But we're not too far off from Salem, and who's to say there's not a lot of witch activity that happen out there?
And that's something we're going to try to ask the locals. I want to try to get some local flavor into this podcast.
We got to find the most hillbilly guy in the middle of the swamp and ask him.
Right, if he doesn't bludgeon us to death with a prosthetic limb.
I actually did find something that the witches did hang out in that area, but
nice.
It was only one,
So one thing, guys, that we really have to be careful for:
people
and the Puckwudgie. The Puckwudgie is said to stomp through the Hockomock Swamp and the Fall River, River State Forest, Freetown Fall River State Forest. Now, Wampanoag folklore, Native American folklore, the Wampanoag tribe, described the Puckwudgie as a 2 to 3 foot tall troll-like creature whose features resemble those of a human, but they have larger noses and bigger ears and bigger fingers. Their skin is described as being smooth gray alien, and at times has been known to glow. The Wampanoag believe that Puckwudgies are best left alone. If you come across them, leave them alone.
They like to fuck with people.
Yeah, if they're seen, they shouldn't be messed with.
You don't try to get a piggyback ride?
No. Because if you do, they'll repay you by playing nasty tricks on you, causing trouble.
Kind of like leprechauns.
Yeah.
I have an idea, guys.
They're known to attack their victims with knives, push them off cliffs, which you were talking about, the ledge in the Freetown Fall River State Forest, most commonly known as the Freetown State Forest. They say a lot of the suicides that happen at that ledge aren't suicide at all. Mm-hmm. They're actually pushed by a Puckwudgie. So you gotta be careful of these guys. They attack with knives and short little homemade spears. They throw sand in your eyes to blind you, and then do all sorts of nasty things to you. So Dave, if you see a Puckwudgie, leave it alone.
You know, that's always been kind of.
And now, modern day, people claim modern day hunters in the forest, for example, in the Freetown Forest, will say they've encountered the Puckwudgie. They've seen it. So
that's always been my.
I mean, it's obviously crazy, but
I heard a story too.
Where watch out for.
Where a guy,
now, if we go to Tauntaun, which is just south of where we're going to be, will we actually see some tauntauns?
No, that's Towton, actually.
No, it looks like it says Tauntaun.
Where? Let me see.
Taunton. Tauntaun.
Oh, that's another.
So I think we can cut them open and get inside of them for warmth.
Empire Strikes Back. Very good.
But this is the thing is, I think that once we get to the swamp, we should maybe try and rent a canoe or a boat. See if there's any like islands we can get out onto, and maybe actually record in the boat.
That would be really cool. Yeah, we're going to be recording on Tascams. You know, listeners, as always, we are taking this mobile, so bear with the sound quality. We do our best, but when we're out there in the elements, it is impossible to capture perfect audio. So we're going to be recording on Tascams. We have GoPro cameras. We have paranormal equipment, EMF detectors, thermal guns. We're going to try to get a full spectrum.
We actually have an EMF CD, too, you know.
We do.
Unbelievable.
Oh! So we're going to try to get evidence from all spectrums, all mediums on this trip. So tomorrow...
We're going to do some watercolors.
The 26th.
Some chalk paintings.
I'm sorry, tomorrow the 27th and 28th. We're going to try between the 27th and 28th. We're going to go to the Hockomock Swamp. We're going to go to the Freetown State Forest. Now, the Freetown State Forest, that's another pretty scary one. Again, there we have UFOs, we have cryptids like Bigfoot, we have lots and lots of cult and satanic activity.
The Ledge, Profile Rock.
Yeah, Profile Rock. These are all things that we're going to talk more in depth about
Dighton Rock.
Once we visit them.
Fraggle Rock.
But there's a lot of crazy stuff there at the Fall River, the Freetown
Twain the Rock
State Forest. I keep wanting to call it
cattle mutilation.
Some people call it the Freetown - Fall River State Forest.
Yeah,
but its actual name is the
Freetown State Forest.
Wouldn't that be Dash?
Yeah.
Dash.
Yes, thank you. Speaking of Fall River, another stop we're going to make on this trip is the Lizzie Borden house. Guys, what do you think of that?
Nice.
Is that something to do with cheese?
It is not. Lizzie Andrew Borden, a lot of people don't realize her middle name was Andrew, became infamous for killing her father, Andrew Jackson Borden, and her stepmother with an axe in her home in Fall River, Massachusetts on Thursday, August 4th, 1892. Story goes on, but it's...
No relation to Samuel L. Jackson?
No.
Okay, just wondering.
No, but I mean, it is just one of those famous unsolved murder cases that's endured the test of time. People are still enthralled with this story. No one knows who did it or why it was done, but it was heinous. It was the O.J. Simpson trial of its day. It even spawned a poem. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. So it's this just legendary murder, and we're going to go to the house where it happened. We're going to see the couch on which her father was murdered, and we're going to have an opportunity to talk to workers there. They agreed to talk with us on the podcast, so we're going to get the inside skinny on the Lizzie Borden house. Once we leave Massachusetts, guys, we're headed up to Concord. Well, I should say once we leave the Bridgewater Triangle, we're heading up to Concord, Massachusetts to stay where, Joe?
At the Colonial Inn.
And why are we staying at the Colonial Inn?
It's supposedly one of the most haunted, bed and breakfast, or, hotels in the United States.
In the United States?
Yeah. Basically, a little brief history of it. They actually used it as a temporary morgue in the Revolutionary War.
Wow.
When Paul Revere was running, the British are coming, the British are coming.
Yeah.
He was headed there when he was captured.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. They used it to store ammunition. There's a lot of...
During the Revolutionary War?
Yeah.
Wow.
And actually, the town of Concord is where the Revolutionary War started.
Yeah,
the first shot.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, actually rang out in Concord.
So we're going to report from there. I mean, this hotel was built in 1716. We're staying in the most notorious room number 24. Right? Special request, we got it. So hopefully stuff will happen there. Again, we'll be walking around with our equipment, Taz cams, GoPro cameras, interviewing, hopefully catch some evidence and bring it kicking and screaming out of the Colonial Inn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, supposedly somebody died. Hopefully we'll get a little out of them. They said they were looking.
Yeah, we're going to get the stories straight from the horse's mouth after we do our own investigation there. After the Colonial Inn in Concord, Massachusetts, where we headed after that. Salem, Massachusetts. Site of the Salem witch trials, 1692.
1692.
That's right. We're going to go walk in the streets of Salem. We're going to go through old, musty cemeteries. We're going to
probably dig up some dirt from the cemeteries.
Should we talk about that on the air?
Wait, what?
I didn't say.
Did I think that out loud?
What?
Yeah.
So we're going to walk those streets. We're going to talk to people. We're going to go into old cemeteries. We're going to go see Proctor's Ledge, which is just recently confirmed to be the site of 19 hangings and 1 death by stoning. Back in 1692, the hanging...
That doesn't sound that bad. Death by stoning.
Death by stoning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Smoke. 19 supposed witches were hung on this spot, and one, I think it was a man, actually, was crushed to death by stones because they thought he was a warlock. We're going to go to that site. We're going to check it out. We're going to get some readings, see if we get some anomalous activity on our equipment, see if we can catch any EVPs or anything strange on photo and video. So we have our work cut out for us, guys. And I think the way I want to work this is we're going to try to make each stop an episode. That's what I'm hoping for. As long as we get the content, factual, entertaining content, I would like to make each stop an actual episode. If not, maybe we could combine an episode here or there. But hopefully tomorrow we could do the Hockomock Swamp and this intro as an episode. Mm-hmm. The next day we could do the Fall River, Freetown State Forest. Yeah, screwed it up again. As its own episode. Maybe we combine the Lizzie Borden House and the Colonial Inn in Concord as an episode, and then have Salem, Massachusetts.
While we have our fingers crossed because we have a huge hurricane.
Thank you, Joe. Hurricane Irene is creeping up the coast.
Fucking bitch.
Wasn't there already a Hurricane Irene? I feel like that.
I don't know.
Or was it Eileen?
This harkens back to the last episode.
Isn't it a song?
Where the Mandela effect.
Yeah, come on.
But no, Hurricane...
Wait, comment on Eileen?
No.
Oh.
Edit that out, Oscar.
Yeah,
oh, wait, Oscar's not here. So yeah, Hurricane Irene is slowly heading up the Florida coast now, set to hit, if it doesn't change paths, within the next 2 days, the eastern seaboard, right where we'll be. So we have our fingers crossed that that is not going to hinder or put a stop to these podcast recordings. But we will do the best we can, folks. Maybe we will report from the eye of a hurricane.
I would almost suffice it to say that maybe the change in pressure might increase some activity.
Right.
Go on that. Why do you think that?
Well, I always thought that whilst we were taking pictures of mists and stuff when we were doing it back in the day, that the weather might have had something to do with it being more visible to the camera. Specifically air pressure and humidity and things of that nature. So
yeah, I will tell you, I get very strong in storms. Storms bring on that, enhances.
Yeah, because you get that electrical energy from the charged air, ions, and all that.
What if the world knows?
The world always knows.
What if it knows we're coming? It's doing what it can to keep us away.
To keep us away, yeah, exactly. That was a bummer. But, I don't know, again, I just wanted to do a quick intro, let everyone know what we're up to. that we are doing what we said we would do. We promised you taking us on the road to some notorious places, and here we are. I just quickly want to mention, everything we do out of our own pocket for the love of podcasting and the love of our audience. But sometimes it's hard. It's hard. On the website, guys, there's a donate button on the sos-radio.com website. Anything helps. We appreciate any donations. We'd like to do this more full-time. So if you enjoy our content and you want to support, we appreciate it. Anything else you guys want to add tonight before we turn in?
Tired. I know. We are literally on about 3 hours of sleep.
Dave?
I'm looking forward to it.
What are you guys hoping to get out of this?
I just want to go there.
This was an investment in time and money to come and do this.
I want to put my hands in the dirt, walk around, and just, get a sense, and just...
Truthfully, I'm just happy to be somewhere else. I look at every, for a living, I do foraging. I throughout the summer and spring months,
like checks and stuff?
Foraging.
Oh,
I go out and collect wild mushrooms and plants and berries and all that kind of stuff for restaurants that I service in Chicago. I have a produce company, so, throughout the summertime, we'll, on Mondays we go out and source stuff, and sometimes we'll just go to a park for the day, or to we'll just go out to some area, take a day trip a couple hours away to look for stuff to find, whether it be mushrooms or nuts or berries or whatever. Right. And sometimes we don't find anything, but you know what? It's nice to just be away, be somewhere else. And so even if we come away from this trip with nothing at all, it'll be nice to just be away and out with my buddies for a few days, hanging out.
I will tell you this,
regardless of what
I feel great.
Regardless of what happens, it's going to be. I think we're already successful in our endeavors here. It's just nice to be.
I feel
it's
really
nice to be some change of scenery.
Yeah, and like you said, together as a group. Yeah. We don't get to do this very often on the road.
Except together, Oscar's not here.
Yeah.
Oh, he is in our hearts.
In our hearts, in our loins. He's
here.
Hey, what?
Jeez, we should have brought him to a taco place.
That was a good place.
Yes,
what was the name of it? Do you guys remember?
I don't know. I didn't even notice the name of it.
I forgot the name.
Our waitress was named Liz.
Our waitress was Liz. I'd like to give him a shout out, but I can't remember the damn name.
What was our host's name?
No, we're not going to go there.
Okay, we can't. A long story. We'll tell you off air.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
But I feel like we'll definitely, especially when we go to Lizzie Borden House and the, what was the other place called? The Colonial Inn.
Colonial Inn.
I'm sure we'll definitely get some vibes and stuff there.
And I got 10 rolls of film.
I'd really, I brought my digital camera, so I hope to get some good photographs. It's been a while since I got a good mist photo, so it'll be nice to
see if we can drum up more.
See if we can get some of that, and hopefully the weather conditions will allow it to
increase activity.
Show.
Yeah, I didn't. I was all paranoid about getting out, just in case. Because we did drive.
We're far enough inland that, as soon as a hurricane makes landfall,
it's gonna skip out.
It immediately hits a wall and slows down. So
cool.
The worst you're going to get this far inland, because we're still. We're going to be 100.
We still could get rain though.
Salem's right on the Atlantic.
Yeah,
so,
but we're going to be for most of the time we're going to be 100 miles inland. So. The worst we're going to get is a thunderstorm or whatever.
Good.
Which reminds me, I don't think I brought an umbrella.
I have 3 of them.
Oh, well, there you go.
See that?
Oh, I do have some ponchos. Some
perfect.
Some
yeah, so that's going to get tricky. We have to talk about that.
Not to sound strange or anything, but when me and Dave were in the hot tub alone earlier, we were actually discussing a few things.
What were you discussing?
About actually taking in these energies and releasing them elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to.
You want to talk about that now, or
well, we want to talk to you about something off air because it's a surprise and we don't want.
All right, shut it off.
But no. But this is the thing is. Back in the day when we did it, I lived in my mother's house, 99, 2000, and I specifically remember going to a place with Steve. You remember Steve?
I do.
We went to this. It was out in, I forget where it was. It was out in the northwest suburbs somewhere. But it was supposedly this old farmhouse that was haunted. And we went out there, and it was 9:30 at night in the winter. And we're taking a bunch of pictures, and I kept getting the vibes. And I specifically remember we heard children laughing off in the distance. Now, there were some subdivisions off in the distance. It could have been kids outside playing in the snow or whatever. But it was like 9:30 at night on a school night. So it seemed weird, but it wasn't like out of the ordinary to hear that. So that was creepy. But the place we were at, there was like a bunch of construction equipment and piles of dirt pushed up. So they were obviously like clearing it out. So I said to the thing, listen, I know this place isn't going to be here long, so if you want to go to a different place, come with me. Attach yourself to me, and I'll bring you to a new place. And so I kind of welcomed it into me, and I kind of felt like it worked. I kind of felt like it was sticking with me. Now, we were out by, I want to say, Arlington Heights Road and Lake Cook Road. There's a Buffalo restaurant with the ice cream and
the real
all
good
that.
ice cream.
Yeah. So I remember we went to that place, and I'm like, if this thing can like live vicariously through me for a few minutes, I want to have ice cream.
Now you're almost talking possession,
right?
Okay.
I'm like, I want to have ice cream.
You don't
just
let
so
it completely possess you.
I want to have ice cream so it can taste the ice cream or whatever. And I felt like myself, but I felt like in this kind of like haze. Mm-hmm. Like when you just kind of like space out and you're like kind of foggy in your own head.
Yeah.
It was kind of that sort of feeling, and I felt the tingling through my body, like it was with me.
It's you're there, but you're not completely grounded.
We went out for ice cream. Then I went back to my mom's house, and I walked into the house, and I kind of like walked around the house and said, okay, you can go in this room, and you can go in this room, and you can go in this room, and you can go in this room. And I specifically went down in the basement and be like, this is your place. My sister lived in the basement at the time. And I'm like, okay, you can, this is your new home. This is where you can live now. And I felt it leave me. And then after that, all kinds of weird stuff started happening in the basement.
Incredible.
So I want to see if me and Joe can go to places where either it's getting, like for instance, Morseland was just torn down, the place that we started at.
Yeah.
And with no warning or anything, it's a parking lot now. And I feel like if that was a place we knew was closing down or was getting torn down, we could have gone there and taken it with us somewhere and given it a new place. So I want to see if there's a way that me and Joe can kind of welcome energies into our body and bring them somewhere else and take them to a place that's guaranteed not haunted, and see if we can make the place haunted. See if we can actually actually relocate a haunting.
And Jay, recently what I've been doing.
And it sounds crazy, but I think we can do it.
Well, that's a crazy story.
And Jay, you know what I've recently been doing.
Joe, talk about what you've been recently doing. Oh, and just so our listeners know, Dave Black just mentioned Morseland. You could listen to the SOS-Radio podcast episode number 5. It's actually our holiday edition, to hear further details about that really freaky case that we were involved in. But what have you been up to lately, Joe?
Well, I'm starting to figure out myself a little more, and I'm just not scared of it anymore. I just don't give a fuck. Like, I just am, this is what I am, this is what I do.
That's a good attitude. Yeah.
My grandma was having some problems at her house. Being very haunted. She called me. She was scared. She has that ability, like me and Dave, and she slept on the couch for in her living room for 2 weeks because she didn't want to go in her room after what happened. And so I go over there as soon as, and she's like, yeah, like it was in it's in my room and blah blah. I walk in her room, and like when you rub a balloon and you put it up to your head and all that static just pulls your hair up.
Yeah, sure.
I walk into that, just an electric field. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking taking this shit. So I go and I walk over the spot. I know where it is. And I feel it sucking inside me, And I took it in. Then I saged the shit out of the house, okay? And I'm walking around, and actually my great-grandma lived in a room, and all of a sudden I saw her photo, and boom, something in my head said, thank you. So my great-grandma thanked me.
Hey,
and
I just thought of something. Now, I don't really believe that saging does anything. I think it's more of a psychosomatic thing of like if you're walking around.
Did you ever try it?
No, but I feel like if you're walking around saying, hey, you can't be here anymore, it's more of you saying that you can't be here anymore.
Well,
kind of forcing it out or kind of putting yourself into a mental block where you can't be
I think we should do an experiment.
This is the thing I'm wondering is like I keep downing these Ricolas to keep my cough at bay. They got sage in them. So I'm wondering if that's going to affect my ability to feel stuff.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, because I'm telling you this, too.
So you think you absorbed your great-grandmother?
Well, listen, because things just,
her energy.
they flash in my head sometimes. Well, no.
You know, a good way to absorb your great-grandmother is take her ashes and make cookies out of it.
Horrible.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, so anyway, every once in a while, things just flash in my head. And I saw a picture, she said, thank you. My grandma's house, so many people died in that house, and just, when you have this ability, you bring on so much shit. You're a magnet for it. Okay, my grandma's a big magnet for it, just like me and Dave. And her house was so fucking backed up for I don't know, like 150 years, however old the house is. I mean, people before her and people before that. It was so backed up. I felt all that. So I'm saging the shit out of, the house. I see the picture of my great grandma where her room, boom, thank you. And I was like, wow. And then to top it off, as I was leaving, I gave my grandma a couple of rocks to keep by her bed too. Okay, like a labradorite and malachite. And
what are those good for?
Well, basically, the labradorite, it basically puts a big bubble and blocks bad stuff from getting to her, and the malachite makes her invisible.
Okay.
But as I was leaving, I smelled my grandpa. Cigarettes. It smelled like stale cigarette smoke.
Wow.
And I was like, Graham, I still had this shit in my body, and I'm like, Graham, I didn't want to say anything, I'm like, Grandma, I don't want to say anything, but I just smelled Grandpa. And she's like, oh. And I showed her where I smelled him. And she's like, I got to sit down. So she goes and she sits down. And I'm sitting down. Like, okay, we can get up now. And she goes and gets up. And she's like, Joe, right where you said that? She's like, see this cross right here? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, that was on his casket when he died.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And then I went home. I probably released it at my house. My house is all fucked up. But, fuck these things, dude. But, I called my grandma the next day, and she's like, Joe, I've never slept so good. Wow. And I went to her house recently. I didn't feel anything. I got rid of it.
That's amazing. Both stories are amazing. So what you guys are saying is you want to do these exercises, what you both are saying, you with the ice cream and taking them from that location, you at your grandmother's house and absorbing all that backed up energy, releasing it elsewhere. You want to try this within the triangle, the Bridgewater Triangle, some of these locations.
No, not necessarily, but when we get back home to see if we can... I would be very interested to see if we can if we can find a place that is guaranteed not haunted, and bring things to it, release them there, and then check back in a few months and see if they've experienced it.
And for an example...
Well, I'm glad you guys don't want to do it here, because they say there is a deep rooted, underlying evil, bad, dark, however you want to call it.
Regardless how
energy
evil...
within this triangle, especially within the forest and the swamp, from centuries of wars, murder, death, cult activity, satanic activity, sacrifices, summoning, that there is a serious bad vibe, bad energy that pulsates through these locations. So I'm glad you guys have decided not to do it there, because I would actually have to object and say no.
Yeah, no matter how evil or strong it is, I know we're tougher and stronger than it, and I know that it knows that. I told you, I'm at that boiling point. Like, I don't give a shit anymore. I am what I am.
I really think you got to be careful with some of this stuff. Especially it's to the level that, that
I don't know. If I brought something into myself and it made me murder a bunch of people, I'd kind of feel honored, you know?
Well, this is something I want to say too. So after I did that, I was fucked for like 2 days. I'm just so tired and out of it, just drained. It does take a lot out of you. When Dave was talking about sage, I mean, this is about, 7 years ago. I was out in New Orleans. I got this giant thing of sage. Just because, I'm like, I just wanted to start, like, collecting stuff. I just thought it looked cool. Whatever. I didn't really know anything about, like, Reiki or, like, incense or anything like that. Didn't know anything about it. I lit this thing, okay? Maybe, like, 5 years later. And just out of the blue. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to burn this. Just because I want to see how it smells. And I didn't know it fucking clears shit and this and that. I burn it like walking around my house because I just want to get the smell, okay? I am telling you, I had problems sleeping. I slept like a baby that night. And
maybe I should sage my house every night.
And something I noticed now is when I really sage my house, and I sage the shit out of it, and I'm breathing it in, like where it's like I'm almost smoking it a little because you know what I mean. You're breathing. It purifies me from the inside out.
So did anyone bring sage on this trip?
I want a rosemary.
No, I don't. I want to feel things.
I want a rosemary and thyme my house.
I'm gonna arugula my house.
Well, yeah.
I was making a reference to an old.
No, we could nut your house.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, sorry.
Rosemary, sage, and thyme.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's bring this to a close. Let's get some sleep, get to bed, get up bright and early, and start heading out on our missions. As always, check us out online, sos-radio.com. Watch our YouTube channel in the upcoming weeks because we're going to have some video up there from this trip. Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies on the YouTubes. And I guess for now, Jason Knight, Joe Erie, Dave Black.
Signing off.
Good morning, loyal listeners. Jason Knight, Joe Erie, Dave Black, continuing our Bridgewater, Massachusetts local podcast adventure.
Yeah.
We got about 3.5 hours to actually hit the swamp proper. And we just wanted to drop a little history about the swamp. Joe Erie is going to clue us in. First, though, I want to mention something that happened to me in the hotel room last night. It was pretty weird. I'm not sure if Joe talked about it on the podcast, the intro last night, or he said it offline. But he mentioned that as we were talking about these stories, kind of cluing you guys in high level of what we're up to this trip, where we'll be reporting from. He said he saw a couple, kind of peripheral vision anomalies in the hotel room, and we chalked it up to being tired and promptly went to bed. Well, at about 3 o'clock this morning, I was in my bedroom, Dave Black was in his bedroom, Joe Erie was sleeping on a pull-out bed in the front room of the hotel room, which, by the way, we have to throw a quick shout-out to Nikki at the Marriott we stayed at in Syracuse. She upgraded us, no charge, to a nice suite. So Nikki promised you a shout-out. Thank you for upgrading, and thank you for listening to the podcast. We hope you keep listening. So we had a suite. We each had, two of us had our own bedrooms, and Joe Erie slept on a pull-out bed in the front room.
Dave made me sleep on the couch. You believe that?
Yeah, he did. Dave
I have a bad back.
He's old. He's got a bad back.
No, he's mad at me.
So, it was about 3 or 4 in the morning. Now, these 2 bedrooms have French doors on them that are just covered by pretty sheer, pretty thin curtains, right? You could barely see in, but they're kind of see-through nonetheless. But around 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, I woke up, because I'm a very light sleeper, to these lights flashing in my bedroom. And I looked up, and there were these very bright lights coming from the front room where Joe was sleeping. And I assumed he had woken up, because he's a troubled sleeper just like I am. I assumed Joe woke up and... Yeah.
There is no such thing as a front room.
Yes, there is. I'm from Chicago. It's a front room. The living room, will that do you better?
Yeah, I mean, it's
No,
not
there's
even...
a front room, there's a living room,
And then there's a front room.
It was the middle room. It
The
wasn't
middle
even the front room.
Well, there's a TV and a fireplace, the entry, so I call it the front room.
Front room,
Regardless,
the living room, and the dining room.
we're not here to debate the phonetic, how you say front room.
Dave made me sleep on the couch. We didn't get any last night. We're arguing it.
So around 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, I was woken up to these bright lights shining through my bedroom door, these French doors, and I assumed Joe woke up and was watching TV. That's the kind of effect the light had, where it was like kind of flashing, like maybe he was watching an action movie or something. It was really bright. The brightness woke me up because I'm a light sleeper. And then I just kind of fell back to bed. I'm like, oh, poor kid can't sleep. He's going to be dead tomorrow. So this morning when we woke up, I asked him, like, hey, dude, were you watching TV last night? You couldn't sleep? He's like, no, not at all. I was slept the whole night. Now, mind you, all the shades were pulled, the curtains were pulled. We're on the second floor. Wasn't car headlights, wasn't anything like that. So I don't know what the hell that was. But I sat up in bed. I was pretty awake at that point. Those lights woke me up. And I thought you were watching TV. Now, I asked
I slept
Dave,
straight through the night. I mean, I didn't
TV
witness
watching?
anything besides that the peripheral vision when we were talking about it. I don't know if we brought something on because we were talking about it. But something else actually happened when you guys were downstairs. I forgot to tell you.
today?
Yep.
What happened?
As I was grabbing the bags and making sure everything was, out of the room, we didn't leave anything behind, the TV turned on by itself. I swear to God, dude. I swear to you. And I was like, whoa. And I shut it off, and then I left.
I wonder if that's what happened during the night then.
Maybe it just turned on by itself, and then you were watching it, and then it shut off. But it was weird, because you were talking about it. I mean, I was passed out. I didn't witness that, but as I was leaving, all of a sudden I heard boom, and then the TV's playing. I'm like, what?
You know what? You know what we should do right now while we're on the trip? We should call back to the hotel, talk to Nikki, and see if those TVs are known to do that.
We could do that.
That would be pretty cool. So no, you didn't tell us
Because
that, but
I was in my room. I didn't go to sleep until about 2:45, but I wasn't watching TV. But the light was on in my room. But I don't think that would have caused any flashing or flickering.
It was strange, but we're traveling with two skilled, clear sensitives.
I didn't feel anything though. I really didn't feel anything.
We should mention that we're driving through the mountains of West Central New York right now, and it's really amazing. Blue skies.
It is.
Big white clouds and mountains full of green trees, and it's pretty nice. Pretty amazing for us Midwesterners to see some topography.
Yeah. Topography. What is that?
It's kind of like a front row.
Where's all the prairies? Yeah, it is beautiful. What were these? The Green Mountains you said, Dave?
We're near the... I'm not exactly sure what this range... I think we're just in foothills right now, honestly. I don't know if we're in, actual mountains yet, but...
Yeah, but it is
really
gorgeous.
nice.
I wish the listeners could see this. Maybe we can get some video posted, but regardless. So I did want to mention that. We should call Nikki and see if those hotel room televisions are known to go on and off by themselves. If there's any timers that are set, I'm not sure. But it was freaky. Anyway.
Yeah. How weird is that as I was walking out the TV turned on?
Right. And I just asked you this morning about watching TV. Something came on,
Mm-hmm.
Irony. Okay. So we're headed straight to the Hockomock Swamp. We're going to be doing some investigating, reporting from the Hockomock Swamp. Joe Erie, could you catch us up on some of the history of the Hockomock Swamp?
Yeah, I know we briefly talked about it yesterday, but I'll just give you a rundown really quick.
Yeah, please, as much
All right.
detail as you can.
The Hockomock Swamp, or first and foremost, it means where spirits dwell, okay? Hockomock Swamp, Hockomock means where spirits dwell, okay? And it was also called the Devil's Swamp by early settlers. All right. It contains several Indian burial grounds, as well as significant sites used by both natives and colonialists.
Now, the native burial grounds, those are the Wampanoag Indians.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But during the King Philip's War, which is said to be the source of several curses on the nearby land. According to one of the Native Americans, had cursed the swamp centuries ago due to poor treatment they received from colonial settlers. Okay, King Philip's War, sometimes called the First Indian War.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it was between 1675 and 1678. Okay, all right. Basically, all right. Metacomet, also known as King Philip, he was the second son of Wampanoag chief Massasoit. I know. I mess up these words.
Massasoit.
Yeah, Massasoit. Okay.
Chicago, Massasoit, actually.
But if you guys don't know who Massasoit is, he is actually when the Pilgrims came to Plymouth, Massasoit was the one that actually welcomed him in and helped them from starving, and he saved their life. Okay, and he always, kept friendship with everybody. Okay, with the Pilgrims, they made peace. Okay, Metacomet, he was the second son of them. The first son actually died doing some trading, and Metacomet, he was pissed off. Like, basically, he always had it out for the settlers because, he always felt like they had, it's because of them, and
Daddy lost his brother.
Yeah, like he was just always like pissed off after all like the unfair treatment they got, especially after they helped the settlers so much. Like another thing too is like these Indians, they didn't understand the concept of land ownership. Okay, so when they would sign peace, the treaties and this and that, they didn't know what the fuck they're signing off on it. So I mean, realistically, the settlers fucked them.
Right. Right. We all, yeah.
Wait a minute, so you're saying the settlers screwed the Indians? I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, but you have to understand the context of the King Philip's War.
Yeah. So
now, King Philip wasn't from England or anything. He was the second son, correct?
Yes.
That's who they named King Philip.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
The second son of Massasoit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah. His name is Metacomet, also King Philip. Okay, because he gave him some like Philip whatever American names. Okay. But anyway, like, all right, so like all this crazy shit's going on. Like he's starting to get pissed because the settlers they're moving west, they're taking over his land, and it really hit a fucking boiling point when he. There was some Indians like fishing, okay, on a Sunday. So the settlers, they killed them because they're actually doing work on a holy day. They're pushing the religion on them, okay. And this is just like a little piece of it. We all know what probably actually happened,
right.
Okay. Well, the final straw was when an Indian went to tell the colonialists that Metacomet was going to launch Indian attacks on them. All right, so basically, they when the Indian came and told them, "All right, Metacomet's going to launch some Indian attacks on you," they killed that Indian that gave them that information.
Wow. So it seems like there was a rift between the tribe itself.
Yeah, but when they killed that Indian, they falsely accused 3 other Indians of the murder, and they hung them.
Wow.
So the settlers hung 3. I mean, you know how it is. It's like the politics of shit,
Right.
The false murder,
Yeah.
So I mean, he was fucking pissed. Okay, so that after that, boom, they went in. They had the swamp as their advantage, which is awesome.
The settlers or the
the Indians.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they would just launch attacks. I mean, they said that was probably like the bloodiest war ever fought on human soil. I know the Civil War probably was pretty bad, but they claim that this is the bloodiest war on American soil.
That happened right there at the Hockomock Swamp area.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all over the land. But actually, at the end of the day, a lot of Metacomet's people, they started siding with the settlers.
No kidding.
And they actually they launched an attack where Metacomet was actually killed, and he was killed by one of his own people. Got shot through the heart. And
did he give love a bad name?
Huh?
Well, yeah. Well, he got killed on Mount Hope. Okay. Well, all right. This is fucked up. I read this somewhere else. All right. After he was killed, his body was ordered to be dug up and quartered because of the deaths he caused to the Englishmen. He was to rot above ground with no bones unburied. They made an Indian behead him, and his head was sold to the village of Plymouth for 30 shillings and remained there on that for 20 years.
I wonder how much that's worth now.
His head was where for 20 years?
In Plymouth. On display.
On a stick?
Yes.
On a stick?
That's what they say.
Wow.
That's the history.
And they disinterred.
And during that war,
body.
most of the women and children were sent back to Europe, and the males were sold into slavery. Here.
Most of the Indian?
Yes.
Women and children? Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, well, all right, so the swamp, it's 5,000 plus acre land, okay? It's site of an 8,000-year-old Native American Indian ground. All right.
Burial ground?
Yes, yeah. 8,000-year-old Native American Indian ground, okay?
Wow.
All right, the Native Americans also conducted rituals to the recently dead to make them not completely cross over, protect, haunt, watch over the grounds, that cursed land, okay? It's said that people see fires or ghost lights within the swamp, and when they come up to it, then the fire is gone. Remember I was talking about the ghost dance yesterday?
The intro, yeah.
Another thing I found out too is that Atlantis. They say when Atlantis was going down, how people went to South America, the Americas, like Asia, Africa, they spread it. And the Wampanoag tribe, they were actually some of the first Atlantans, and then they merged into what they were. That's their beliefs.
Wow.
Especially, we'll talk about this later too when we talk about that Dotton Rock, okay?
Yeah.
With the weird carvings and drawings they found on it. But
in case we can't find Dighton Rock,
yeah,
maybe a high-level overview. It's this large kind of monolithic boulder that the whole boulder face is engraved with this mysterious symbology, language of some peoples that no archaeologist, no scientist could pin down exactly.
Yeah.
They say everything from what? Viking and Norse?
Viking, Portuguese, the regular Indian, Knights Templar, some weird Atlantis type of writing.
Yeah, some say aliens. So it begs the question, if it turns out to be Phoenician, what the hell were the Phoenicians doing here?
What if it was just the equivalent of, somebody, talking on their phone, doodling in their notebook?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Indian belief, where they believe that they came down from the stars.
The star people. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to try to find this Dighton Rock and actually get pictures and
Yeah, they removed it and they have a museum now.
some readings off of the rock, because they say a lot of paranormal activity happens around this Dighton Rock.
Yeah.
What else are they seeing in the Hockomock Swamp, Joe?
Well, there's cryptic animals like Bigfoot, thunderbirds, that look like pterodactyls, giant snakes, large cats, brown, tan, sometimes even black, and sometimes they see different colors at the same time. Yes, giant cats, rabid dogs, orangutan-looking creatures, and even the Puckwudgie.
Oh, the Puckwudgie.
Mm-hmm.
Those short little demons that push you off ledges and throw rocks
I
and
still think
sands in
the
your face.
orangutan thing might be the Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus, which is crazy in and of itself.
Gigantopithecus is supposed to look like
I got a giant
like an orangutan.
Maybe this area in the Hockomock Swamp, maybe the whole Bridgewater Triangle itself is one of these vortexes, or
Well, even when
places
the
of very-
Puckwudgie, it's almost like it sounds similar to a tiny Bigfoot,
in some
It's in some ways, but a lot of research too I've been finding out that when people do encounter Bigfoot, when it's either standing behind them, they get a voice in their head saying "turn around." They talk telepathically, almost like they say aliens would. Aliens talk telepathically because they're living in that non-physical world and can go in and out. That other sense. So
not to beat a dead horse here, but I feel like a lot of this phenomenon could be time related. I feel like there's a lot of this paranormal activity could be revolving around rifts in time or some sort of wormhole sort of gateway or whatever where they're actually
weird vortex.
Because I mean, you hear stories of people seeing the glowing green kangaroos and even like apatosaurus type dinosaurs and stuff, and even in some of the haunting and classic hauntings, like people will see living people like in the kitchen or something, like somebody that's not there, but they'll see them.
Well, for an example,
so it could be
even lasers. Look at how they have lasers now. They have people, performing like through lasers, holograms. Yeah,
but no,
why can't nature do that?
What I'm saying is that time is kind of like a relative to the conscious human brain. So I feel like that some of these energies might be warping our perception of time.
They could also be stored and replaying, like so almost like sound and pottery.
When someone sees the cats, or someone sees the Bigfoot, or somebody sees the Puckwudgie or whatever, they're just seeing something that happened at a different time. They're seeing into the way distant past, or maybe even the future.
Yeah, maybe is insane.
Maybe a Puckwudgie is what humans will evolve into in a million years. Who knows?
Well, we're gonna go. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I mean, but they even say that about aliens. It's like they're us advanced because, for an example, if we were to go to space,
that's my main theory on aliens.
Yeah, I honestly, I've always felt that too.
That us from the future.
It's just
more advanced. I mean,
because
if
you were to put humans into like a Star Trek sort of space
environment,
space city where everything's completely regulated, 72 degrees all the time, all the food is like specifically dietary. You don't have any natural sunlight. What would happen, and when astronauts go into space, even for a week, when they come back, their muscles are all atrophied because they haven't had gravity pulling on their muscles.
Yeah.
So what would happen?
I've always felt this.
What would happen in several generations of humans in space is our bone structure would change, our musculature would change, body hair would probably disappear because there wouldn't be any need for it because there's no fluctuation in temperature. There'd be no ultraviolet light, so our skin wouldn't need pigment anymore. Our eyes wouldn't need. We wouldn't need very complex digestive systems or respiratory systems because everything's regulated. So
they say even their sexual organs change. So that's why we
would eventually start
people
to look like them. So
So the Hockomock Swamp, that's where we're headed.
Oh yeah, and it's not only sites of the cryptic animals in the Indian burial ground. There's a phantom hitchhiker they see along Route 44.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that out.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Route 44,
we're just gonna pick up some random dude and be like, "Are you the phantom hitchhiker?" And then he stabs.
It could have been that guy with that red beard. Never know. All right, Anawan Rock is also located in the swamp along Route 44. And
tell us about Anawan Rock.
Rehoboth, whatever, I don't know.
Rehoboth.
Yeah, Rehoboth. Okay. Anawan Rock is named for Chief Anawan and is the site where Chief Anawan surrendered to the colonists, ending King Philip's War. Yeah, legend says that the angry spirits of Chief Anawan's warriors continue to haunt that area, starting spectral fires and ghost dancing.
Wow. And we know from just, stomping around Chicago and reporting from Chicago how hot Indian burial locations are.
That's my hot spot. That's where I feel the most.
So what are you hoping to achieve today, Joe?
Well,
by going to Hockomock Swamp, what are you looking for?
I'm definitely interested in the reptiles and amphibians. Hopefully we could find some of those.
Yeah, but we are there
but no.
I honestly, the thing that interests me the most...
I want to feel. I want to feel something.
Honestly, the thing that interests me the most is the cryptids. It's because that's one thing that's always
I
fascinating.
would kind of have to agree.
Yeah.
I'm really into that.
And, as you know, I did see a black cat in 1996 in Gulf, Illinois. And, ever since then I've been fairly fascinated with that sort of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm more Indians. I mean, I definitely want to, it's home to Bigfoot,
Yeah. Now, 8,000-year-old Indian burial ground.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying they were pulling Native American artifacts out of the Hockomock Swamp from carbon dated 9,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking ancient history here.
Oh, and that's what they know.
Unfathomable to think that there were people walking when we're about to walk 9,000 years.
And that's just what they know now. Imagine 1,000 years from now what they really will know,
I want to know what we're really going to find out. That's what I can't wait for. It might be a bust. And we're going to tell the listeners, hey, sorry, nothing happened. We're not going to invent shit. We're not going to make things up just to entertain. We want to entertain you, but we're not going to fabricate. So I'm really hoping something happens. We got enough equipment to document and capture these anomalies, hopefully. So I'm looking to bring the listeners some solid proof of what's happening at the Hockomock Swamp.
Yeah, my goal is to feel and get photos. Evidence.
Yep.
Proof.
Dave, what do you... the cryptids. I apologize.
Yeah, cryptids are
I'm focusing on the road, too.
are my main thing that I'd like to see.
Excellent. I say we go there during the day, scope it out, walk around, kind of plot some tracks and trails, come back at dusk and spend quite a few hours there from dusk till maybe 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, and see what we can find. How does that sound to you guys?
I can't wait.
10 o'clock at night? What do you got? You got school in the morning?
Okay, sorry. All right. Let's say our names. Jason Knight signing off.
Dave Black signing off.
Joe Erie
signing off. We're gonna, as we're driving, we are going to go ahead and call the Marriott and look for our girl Nikki, who upgraded us. Very nice woman. We're gonna ask her and find out about the television situation and whether or not they're known to go on and off at odd hours of the day without any human intervention. So stay tuned. I just pause for a second, and I'm going to dial her up. Okay, so you're recording now?
Yeah, you go.
See if she's there. If she's not there, I could ask for anybody, I guess.
Good morning. Thank you for calling your residence. Syracuse. This is Stephanie. How may I assist you?
Hi, Stephanie. Is Nikki available?
Can I ask who's calling?
Yeah, my name's Jason. We just checked out. We were kind of talking to her down at the front desk. I just want to ask her a question real quick.
Sure, absolutely. Just one moment.
Thank you so much.
This is Nikki. How can I help you?
Hi, Nikki. This is Jason. Me and my two buddies, Supernatural Occurrence Studies, we just checked out. We were talking down there at the front desk.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got a question. I completely forgot to ask you while we were checking out. Are your televisions in the rooms known to go on and off at odd hours of the day or night? Have you ever had any guests talk about this?
No, nothing that has been brought to my attention.
Do your TVs, I mean, are they capable of doing that through timer or anything like that? Because it happened to us twice yesterday, and I completely forgot to ask you when we checked out. Once around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the front room TV turned on, and it was silent, but it turned on and it was flashing lights throughout the room. And then this morning we were checking out, the TV popped on by itself again, this time with volume. Is that known to happen?
Not that it's ever been brought to my attention, no. So it's not been anything that's been brought to the desk's attention as far as I know. And I'm not sure if the TVs have a timer, to be honest with you.
Is there
I
any...
assume that they do.
Right.
Because most TVs do have the timer option.
Sure. Okay. It was just, we thought it was weird. I wanted to ask you and completely forgot. So no one's ever brought it to your attention. They may or may not have timers.
So
No,
I think it'd be
there's
something
a
you have
timer
to set.
option on the remote.
Yeah, it's something that has to be set. Okay. All right, Nikki, that was all we needed. I was just making sure we're not crazy.
No, yeah, no, absolutely. But now I'm definitely gonna be curious about this, though, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, if you hear any more reports of that, we gave you our card. Write the website or something. Let us know.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Thanks. Well, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there we go. She'll keep an eye out for us. Not sure if it was a timer that was previously set. I mean, I know I have smart TVs at home, and it doesn't have an auto on and off.
Yeah, it's
It'll
something
have
you
a-
manually have to do yourself.
Yeah, I could set it to off, but to actually turn on.
And to actually
I
have
don't
it
have
turn
it,
on
and
as
I
I was leaving to almost like let me know,
Right. I mean, state-of-the-art televisions I have at home, and I can't turn it on automatically. I can turn it off, set a timer.
I will tell you this. I mean, even before timers, I know a lot of people who did have haunted houses, and lights would turn on by themselves. TVs would turn on by themselves.
yeah.
Radios would turn on by themselves. I mean, that's just part of the territory with ghosts and electricity and energy.
Right. Well, figured give her a call. Why not get it on the podcast? So there we go. To be continued. All right, folks. After some time trying to figure out how to get into the Hockomock Swamp, we are finally in. Make sure and check out our YouTube channel, Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies on YouTube, for clips from this adventure. Oh, wow. Huge wasp nest.
You want to throw some rocks at it?
No,
Nope.
on the way out, I'll fucking grab it.
No, don't.
So let's try to watch our language. Let's just, because we are recording. We parked on Side Street here, off of 138 in Wilbur. Talked to one of the neighbors. We parked right next to her house. She lives right next to one of the entrances, the Hockomock Swamp. She said nothing really happens. She's lived in this area her whole life. But one thing that she does claim is that sometimes at night they hear these real loud, aggressive howls coming out of the swamp area here, and not entirely sure what it is. The way she described it to me was aggressive howling that makes you glad you're inside at the time you hear them. So she says, we usually tell ourselves it's just raccoons. I said, well, maybe Bigfoot, because Bigfoot is known to let out aggressive howling noises. And she kind of laughed and wasn't really sure. So we will keep stopping and restarting this recording as we venture in. But we are here at the Hockomock Swamp in the infamous Bridgewater Triangle. Dave, are you feeling anything?
Not really, not yet. What's that?
Joe Erie, any feelings?
I felt something as soon as we came into that area when we were driving, but nothing strong. It's just,
What were you looking at?
it was a mushroom. I thought it was a bone.
Okay, well, we're going to continue down this long and winding road.
Look at this.
Let you know what we come up with. Stay tuned. I should mention it is dusk. It's sundown. It's 6:30 local time. So sooner or later, it's going to turn dark, and then the real fun begins. I'm recording.
All right. So basically, what I'm looking for right now for the cryptid animals, or the cryptive animals like Bigfoot or the Puckwudgie, is look at these plants. Pretend they're a bobber, and it's just sitting there in the water. Okay. As soon as one makes a sudden movement, it means something's underneath it. There could be an animal close by. We're listening for all the crickets and the noise to stop because they're smart. They know when shit's around. Also, they say that the cryptic animals, especially, there's a toad right here. Yep, got a toad right here.
Show it up to the camera.
Woohoo! Hello.
There we go.
And
So, Joe, tell us why you're listening for things to go silent.
because animals are smarter than most of us. Some of us have animal instinct.
This is a pucky toad.
I'm keeping them. So, yeah, I got toad collection, man. All right, so
Keep that guy for 5 days.
it's all right. I'll feed him well.
okay.
So basically, I mean, I believe some of us have animal instincts in us, and that's how we can sense. But they know before most humans, people know. And a lot of sightings people have been saying recently is you ever see the Predator, the movie Predator?
Sure.
How it goes stealth? People are saying that everything goes silent, and all of a sudden they see like almost like a water, like how that Predator image just kind of moving.
Beveled air.
Yeah, but I don't know if people understand what beveled air is. But
Coming off a road.
But basically, like I was saying before, look for the plants to start moving, just shaking randomly. It's almost, as for example, like a bobber moving underwater means something's there. It's
So you're actually watching this case for real animals that occurred.
everything, actually.
But more so listening for the forest to go silent.
Silent and movement. An ordinary movement.
An ordinary. Got it. Okay. Good stuff. Keep you posted. I'd say we're in about quarter mile. Probably quarter mile is a safe bet. And I seem the only one to be the only one experiencing this, but I'm hearing. Sounds like I'm hearing a male voice that keeps pace with us off to the left here. I guess that would be towards 138, but I've heard it a number of times. Joe Erie and I are kind of sticking together, and he says he hasn't heard it, but I swear to God, I've heard that voice.
As soon as we actually got to that the Hockomock Swamp area, I definitely had a feel of energy, but it's not very right now. It's just it's a big cousin of the big land, but there's nothing in our face right now.
No, nothing in our face. Except Dave, do you hear? I keep hearing like a voice off to the left, like a guy's voice.
I mean, the road.
Have you heard that, dude? The road is a good, probably half mile back there. It's a big ass dog.
There's human beings right next to it.
Right. Good call.
Maybe it's Zool.
I don't know, man. I don't like it in here.
We're just gonna be quiet and keep our fucking eyes open.
The bugs definitely don't like us. They don't want us here. The lady we talked to gave us a can of off. She said we're crazy for coming out here without bug spray. We all completely forgot about it, but the bugs just assault your face. Okay, stay tuned. Just to recap what Joe Erie was saying earlier about listening for the forest to go silent. Missing 411, missing people missing from state forests, other pocket locations across the U.S. People who just, they could be walking in a line on a hiking trail. The person who's last in line disappears, never to be found again. People just going off missing, finding their bodies 6 months later in an area that was searched 20 times by aerial teams and search and rescue teams. Bodies will reappear laying right across the trail that was searched 20 times with their clothes neatly folded in a stack somewhere near the body. Very strange stuff. Missing 411, look it up. But one trait that's common in a lot of the missing stories is the forest going dead silent all of a sudden, and the appearance of some sort of entity, human, non-human, alien, we don't know, terrestrial, extraterrestrial, that appears to be like the Predator. Has cloaking technology like the Predator. Looks like it's wrapped in saran wrap or drenched in water. It's that shimmery movement. So that's what Joe is referring to keeping watch for here in these deep woods of the Hockomock Swamp. I don't like it here. The other guys are distracted with catching frogs and other shit, but I don't like it in here. It's getting thicker as we walk deeper. I have the feeling that something is keeping pace with us in the woods. It's just out of our line of vision. I don't know. I don't know if it's myself freaking me out or what, but I don't like it here. Stay tuned.
Activity, wires, and fucking tires.
So we finally came to part of the swamp area. If you could see it there in the GoPro. Now it's these stagnant waters that people say they see the phantom Indians in canoes paddling through the swamp region. Part of that, possibly part of the Indians that were killed, put to death from the story Joe Leary told earlier about the King Philip's War.
Yeah, so this is man-made, but it looks like it's fucking old. I mean, old. Look at that wood.
Oh yeah, no, this is. I mean, as we've told already, they're pulling artifacts out of this place from 9,000 years ago. There's an 8,000 year old Indian burial ground in here somewhere that we're trying to look for. So, folks, stay tuned. Well, we just traversed this entire section, anyway, of this part of the Hockomock Swamp. Went all the way in till we started coming out into a residential neighborhood. So we're turning back around. Joe saw an offshoot trail that we're going to try to walk for a while. The sun's getting closer and closer to being down. Things may intensify at that point, but so far haven't heard any more voices. I don't know. Not really sure. But, we're going to see what happens. What do you think, Joe?
I don't know, but I guess so far the only thing I felt was Dave's tendencies.
Yes. All right, signing off. I found a strange little trail off the side here. We're going to head back a little bit. See if we see anything. Dave Black disconnected himself from us, so he's way up there.
Look at all those mushrooms.
Hold on, Joe. That was weird. Equipment went down for a second there, and Joe's saying he could feel more back here in this little offshoot trail than anywhere else. I don't know if the GoPro, low light on the GoPro sucks. I gotta find a night vision or something for this piece. I don't know. It is dark.
I feel like an Indian now. Yeah.
GoPro could see. What are you feeling, Joe?
Nothing. I'm just being extra aware right now.
All right, I'll get back to the listeners. Joe, you're saying you're feeling something? You're saying this is where it is?
It's this way.
Just don't want to lose this path.
Energy pushes away from fucking people. That fucking trail, everybody travels on it. You need to get secluded.
Watch your footing here. That's how people go missing. They split like this. Dave. Alright.
It was starting to be more secluded. I guarantee this is probably like an oldest trail.
Oh yeah, there's barely a trail, so there's a lot of growth here.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Undisturbed.
Trail.
Now we're back. Alright, signing off. Well, we made it back out by the car again. Nothing happened. Nothing crazy happened here. We're going to try to... This is only a small plot of land in the... It's actually 20,000 acres. Hockomock Swamp. 500 of which is owned by the Department of Fisheries and Conservation. So that's where we were coming up with the number 500 acres earlier. That's the one that's owned by the Department of Fish and Conservation. Here we go. Someone's going down.
Don't move it. No, it's quick.
Energy concert. What do you see?
A fucking snake. If it's red and yellow, it's fucking poisonous.
No, red and yellow is kind fellow.
Oh yeah, red and black. It's red and black. It's red and black, dumbass.
It's a fucking milk snake, you retard.
All right, here we go. Turn it off. All right, so as we were saying, back to the car. We've only investigated this tiny plot
Red and yellow is killer
of the Hockomock Swamp.
Red and black.
Joe thought he had a sighting of a poisonous snake. And that's what he freaked out about. Didn't want anyone to get bit, but it turned out to be a milk snake. So we're going to try to find another entrance to this place. A lot of the entrances, according to the locals, have been closed over the years due to trouble and traffic and whatnot. So there's only certain entrances across the whole 5,000-acre area, but or 500-acre area, 20,000-acre total. But we're going to try to find another entrance and see what's up.
The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit of what's old and what's new. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit of the red, white, and blue. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit of what's old and what's new. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit of the red, white, and blue.
Well, listeners, here we go. The night took a different turn. After leaving the Hockomock Swamp with little to no activity, we find ourselves standing in the portside town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, standing on, near the Plymouth Rock. What do you think of that, Dave?
It's pretty nifty to think of all the rape and genocide that started here.
Well, it's funny you mention. We did see a marker up there that every I forgot what the date was. Native Americans do come here to have a national day of mourning
Since 1970.
Since 1970 for the, as Dave said, the genocide that happened here in Plymouth to the Native Americans all across the country. But I'm literally looking at Plymouth Rock, standing in the same spot that the Wampanoag peoples were standing when they saw the Mayflower coming across the ocean here, ready to land at Plymouth. And it's really, it's quite surreal, I gotta say. I didn't think I'd be as moved as I am to be standing in this location. And overlooking the rock here at Plymouth Rock is Wampanoag Chief Massasoit that Joe Erie talked about earlier in this episode. The man, the Indian chief who greeted the Pilgrims, helped the Pilgrims, and whose sons helped kick off the King Philip's War, which led to a lot of the hauntings, supposedly, at the Hockomock Swamp. So it strangely came full circle, literally standing under the shadow of Chief Massasoit as I recite to this podcast. So strange twist, turn of events. There is a cemetery here in Plymouth with supposedly, we're going to go check it out, supposedly some of the original Pilgrims who landed here at Plymouth Rock. We're going to go check that out and report from there. But so far the Hockomock Swamp didn't prove to be anything that the stories said it was. However, in total, that swamp is nearly 20,000 acres, 500 of it, which is controlled by Conservation and Fisheries of Massachusetts. So we're talking about a 20,000 acre plot of land. We're not really sure where to go to find these Indian burial grounds. We're going to try to do more research and footwork tomorrow. But we tried to figure out how to conclude this episode, and strangely enough, as I said, here we are at Plymouth Rock in the shadows of Chief Massasoit, whose sons actually kicked off the King Philip's War, which led to a lot of the hauntings at Hockomock Swamp. So, kind of weird how that all worked out, but I'm going to bring this to a close for now. Plymouth is beautiful. There's fog rolling in off the Atlantic. It's something to behold. It really is. Right now, Joe Erie is kind of walking around in the surf here at Plymouth Rock, at the Plymouth Rock Monument, collecting shells, hunting for crabs. It's kind of winding down the day of paranormal outings. But we're going to try to head over to that cemetery, take a walk to that cemetery, see what that's all about. And if anything relevant comes up, we will jump back on to record and let you guys know what we see, what we experience. Jason Knight signing out. We're still at Plymouth Rock because we just can't seem to bring ourselves to leave. And, the rock itself is untouchable. It's in this huge monument, and it's actually set down probably about 12 feet from the top of this monument. It's all guarded by rails. On the beach where the Pilgrims landed, it's Mayflower. It's actually secured by iron bars. You don't go down there, but you could look at it from about 12 feet above. I can't say that Joe Erie climbed down there and touched the rock. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that there may be photos on the SOS-radio.com website under photos and videos. I'm not going to say that, listeners, because it's illegal. But Dave, I'm here with Dave Black. What do you think of this town? What do you think of look at the fog rolling in off the Atlantic, picturing the Mayflower just pulling in, Indians, the Wampanoag standing up there on that hill, headed by Chief Massasoit. What do you think of where we're at, man? I mean, this is where it all began.
Yeah. I was just reading about the rock, and it seems as though Plymouth Rock wasn't even mentioned by the original settlers, and that it didn't really become a landmark until 120 years later when the 95-year-old elder decided that was where, that was basically the rock that everyone stepped on first to get off of the boat.
Off the Mayflower.
So I don't know if there was any significance to it until later on, or if it's even the right rock, honestly. So who really knows? It's one of those things, and the rock's been moved back and forth. It was split in half.
Yeah, a few times.
And moved back and forth.
It was about 3 times its current size originally.
Yeah.
When the Pilgrims landed. But I mean, that is piece of the rock. I mean, this is. I can't bring myself to leave. I didn't think I would be as moved as I am being here. We walked up into the town, had a couple drinks in a local bar, talked to some locals. What do you think of the town, Dave?
It's definitely got some history to it. I've definitely felt a few buzzing feelings as I was walking through.
What was the name of that building that you really freaked out at?
Let me look at my...
He's going to look at his pic. There was a building as we were walking down one of the main streets here, headed back towards the ocean front. Dave pretty much went nuts at this one building.
The Reach building.
Called the Reach building. What were you feeling there, Dave?
It was a pretty standard haunting. I walked up and looked through the window, and something came at I felt it go through my face.
Wow.
So it was definitely something strong in there that was feeling me as well. So
cool.
I'm curious to either stop in or call them tomorrow and see if they have any stories. I bet they do.
Excellent. A lot of the homes here that we're walking by, obviously remodeled, but some of them date back to the 1700s. We're talking just like New Orleans here. Those port cities like this, a lot of history. So we still haven't made it to the cemetery yet. Joe Erie's down actually collecting some sand from the beach where the Pilgrims landed. So we will report back, but I just wanted to not say that Joe Erie may or may not have touched Plymouth Rock, and there may or may not be photos on SOS-radio.com of that event. So, to be continued.
The Mayflower, a little ship on an ocean trip. The Mayflower, a-yo-ho-ho over the sea. The lightning was frightening, the winds were strong as they rode along on the Mayflower, a-yo-ho-ho over the sea.
All right, listeners, we are here at Burial Hill, and it is on me.
Fine, dude.
It is on me. This is the oldest cemetery in Plymouth, I believe. I will
Probably in the English.
in Massachusetts.
I would assume that this would
We
be
got to go. We're going to go to the sign here in a minute, but it is on me. I'm feeling it. It's all up my spine. It's in my arms. I feel it in my ears. This is insane. Dude, there it is. Oh my God, I don't believe this. It's 12:30 in the morning, Burial Hill, Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's there it is again, dude.
Do you see that feel now?
Holy shit! Sorry, I'm trying not to swear on the podcast.
What does it feel like, Kate?
It's like waves. It's waves in me. It's in my arms. It's in my ears. My ears feel like they're flushing. It's in my spine. My spine is tingling right now. Mm-hmm. There it is again. It's like a wave. It's weird. Oh, wow. What do you guys feel? There it is again. It can't even talk. It's like, what the hell was that? Ducks? It's like these waves coming at me. Holy cow. So Burial Hill is literally a hill. We're on a hill right now. Probably 45, what would you say, 45-degree incline here? About 45-degree incline, literally on a hill, overlooking Plymouth here. Ancient church right next to us. I'm going to try to make my way down to the sign here because I got to find out what date this was established. These tombstones are just washed. You can't even see them. They say original pilgrims are buried here. Heading over, getting to the sign. This hill is steep. Look at this crypt. That's weird. That's like something you'd see in New Orleans. So we're walking through Burial Hill next to this ancient church that's being rehabbed. I'm trying to want to get to the front gate. What is it? Could we read this? Who is this? Alexander Schammel, 1747 to 1781. Teacher, soldier, patriot. He taught the public schools on this site, colonial and adjutant general in the Continental Army. Wow. Mortally wounded at Yorktown. Wow. So 1781 this marker is from a leader in the early Plymouth community. I'm going to jump down here and try to get up. There we go. So Burial Hill. Here's the sign. Burial Hill. The hill before you has been used for burials by Plymouth residents since the 1620s. The first English settlers, known as the Pilgrims, built their first fort meeting house here. Here, Mayflower passengers are buried, including Governor William Bradford and William and Mary Brewster. The last burial here took place in 1957. The earliest grave markers were of carved wood and do not survive today. Stone markers were likely used starting in the mid-17th century. Today, the oldest known stone on Burial Hill is that of Edward Gray from 1681. These early stone markers are valuable historic documents, and many are irreplaceable works of folk art. As you walk through Burial Hill, please remember that this is historic and sacred ground, which deserves care and respect. Many stones have a better chance of survival if they are not touched. We appreciate your cooperation. The cemetery is closed from dusk till dawn each day. Well, about that. I am not walking up there by myself. There's no way in hell. No way in hell. Let me find the other guys. Joe Erie and Dave Black. I'm not going up there by myself. That is a creepy ass place. I gotta get back up here. There we go. We're back up. Site of the house where John Alden lived while in Plymouth. Wow. I hear the guys. I don't see them. Where you guys at? Oh, man. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. Oh, man. Do you feel that in your stomach? Oh. Dude.
I need to walk alone.
Joe.
Are you recording or no?
Yeah, Joe, I can't.
I know, Jay.
I can't go any. What the fuck is happening, man? I can't even.
I need to be alone right now because it's coming. It's like whenever I'm around you guys, it's like it needs to run to me right now.
My equilibrium is shot.
This is.
I can't walk.
Over here, man. I'm telling you, it's not a bad feeling, but it's just so much fucking energy, dude.
No
Oh, God.
I don't know what it is. I can't walk right now. There's other people coming up. All of a sudden, I'm sensitive to this. I never feel anything. I couldn't even go any further. It's something like it was pushing me back. Let's try this again. Walking through, could barely see. I can't. Okay. It's like I'm forcing myself through a sheet of, like fighting myself through a sheet of energy. It takes everything in me to continue forward. Never experienced anything like this before. Well, anyone who's buried here has a good look over the town of Plymouth, I'll tell you that. I feel it in my stomach. It's very nauseous, sick feeling in my stomach. I'm surrounded by ancient tombstones just rubbed clean. No identifying marks whatsoever. That's how old we're talking. I don't know what this is. This is insane. Beautiful, but insane. Pretty much to the... Sorry, guy. I don't mean to step on you. Pretty much to the top. Forget this. There's a walkway here. I'm going to go on the walkway. There's a railing in case I fall. Not because of losing my footing, because of this uneasy, no equilibrium feeling I'm just getting bombarded with. Pretty much to the apex of the hill, Barrel Hill. Walking by myself. Dave, what are you feeling here? I can't even walk, man. Talk to me. I'm recording. What are you feeling? If I'm feeling this, you gotta be feeling something.
I'm feeling the usual, the usual stuff.
Why is it hitting me so hard?
I don't know. Maybe it likes you.
I'm really agitated. I'm on edge. I'm agitated. My stomach is nauseous. I had no balance whatsoever back there. I couldn't proceed forward. It was like something was physically pushing me back.
There's definitely some good energy here. I will say that.
He's taking photographs, digital camera.
I'm trying to get my shutter speed priority changed. So.
But imagine without all this construction here, all this modernization. Look at what the people at rest here would see. I mean, this would have been a hell of a view. You got the Atlantic Ocean right there. Got the church right next door, which is probably just as old as the cemetery. I got to go and check out the sign of the church.
This is the oldest cemetery in the United States.
Is that a fact?
It would have to be, wouldn't it? I mean,
Well, that was coming from, I read the sign. Listeners, forgive me, I'm kind of screwed up right now, but it was like 1670, I think, was the first interment here.
so there's got to be. Well, maybe there's one in Florida or something that's older, but
Over by where Columbus landed.
yeah. But this is going to be pretty close to. I'm getting a lot of like orb pictures, but we don't really put too much stock.
Yeah, look how foggy it is. We can't really claim that as evidence. I can tell you I've never felt like this. Never.
Yeah, there's definitely some pretty heavy duty energy here.
Are you seeing anything other than orbs in your...
When I was up on the hill there, when you guys were going to look at the sign, I started hearing things rustling around me.
And of course, there's no
And it was freaking
fallings here. So what were you hearing?
just like leaves rustling and stuff, but I couldn't really tell what I was hearing. It was momentarily disturbing.
So the
a lot of insects, like a lot of like pupa cases and stuff, and like caterpillars and things like that pupating on the actual stones and stuff.
Yeah, it's... Let's try to catch a reading here.
We should just kind of like lay down on the hill.
Of course, I left all of my detecting equipment in the car. I was so excited to get out. I left it in the car. I don't know if I'll be able to make it back up. I guess I should go to the car and get the equipment. That's what the listeners would want. Okay. For the time being, Jason Knight signing off. I'm going to head to the car and grab at least my EMF detector. See if I get any readings. So I will return. Okay, we're back. We got the equipment from the car. On the way to the car, met some local guys telling us that, yeah, this cemetery is effed up. Gave us some pointers on some other places while we're headed out, but probably won't have time to visit them. But they did confirm that, yeah, this place is it's messed up. So,
Yeah, so I don't know what happened last because I wasn't with you, Jay.
right,
I was
now,
walking around.
just kind of narrating what I was feeling, man.
I was walking around by myself, taking pictures, getting a big feel around the cemetery where the hot spots are. And I was just going to tell you, I'm like, all right, cool, I know where they are. All right, and this left section over here towards the end.
So it's behind the church.
Yes, fucker. And in the middle, I got like this is where I got my strongest feeling of the cemetery. Okay, and all the way in the back end down there, and then after talking to the locals,
See, I don't feel it now.
hold on, wait, it's coming. So after talking to the locals, they said that they found out that 4 of the original pilgrims are buried in that section where I felt it the most. And I mean,
Some of the oldest tombs.
dude, I'm telling you, this is where we're going. It's the heart. I could already feel it already. It's getting stronger and stronger. Where it's like I'm feeling it in my stomach. I'm feeling it in my breath.
Hold on, stop.
Do you feel it or
I
no?
want to try to get a reading.
Do you feel anything, Dave, or no?
Yeah, but I'm not getting any pictures of anything.
Okay, yeah, but you got a different type of camera.
I have gotten pictures with this camera.
And we're doing 2 different experiments, okay? I have, I'm not going to say what type of film.
What?
Well, what the fuck? I mean, for how long
Don't
have we
swear.
done? Sorry, how long have we done this? And we finally figured out.
What film works best?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of shortchanging the listener.
All right, whatever. Fuji, Superior, okay, 800 or higher. This is the stuff that
400 works too.
Yeah, it does,
Joe gets
but
best results on 8+.
8+, because this is the high speed for like races and fast, because you need it instantly. And these type of energies change in the drop of a dime, okay? And, I mean, you randomly just shoot, boom. But, there we go, never mind, it's people. Okay, so, is your name Dave?
Digital. What are you using, Dave, to shoot?
My camera is a Fuji.
Hold on.
A Fuji Fine Pix. 700.
I'm seeing shadows, dude. Just, you know what? Start fucking taking photos now. I'm feeling everything, and I'm seeing stuff. This is never gonna get shit.
My camera's a Fuji Fine Pix S.
Fuji Fine Pix S.
And I don't like the way it takes pictures because it has like a meter light that comes on first. See, like if I try to take a picture, it sends off this orange light first. And it takes like a few seconds delay to actually go off. It's fairly annoying.
I am reading 0 EMF at this point.
I'm feeling so much right here.
I can't.
See or
No.
no?
I'm getting some nothing crazy.
Joe and Dave are getting feelings.
I'm getting it in my spine, in my back, in my stomach, and in my shoulder blade.
No EMF spikes at all. Hold on.
That was crazy.
Oh, this is dangerous. I can't see.
Oh yeah, the orbs.
There we go.
Huh. Orb photo. Tons of orbs. But still 0 EMF. Nothing. How's that possible?
I don't think the EMF really does anything, honestly.
I'm trying to confirm what you guys are seeing. What you guys are feeling.
Here, let me focus. Suck it in.
Nothing. It's pretty pitch black up here. Tripping over those tombstones. I feel guilty. I'm not getting anything. Joe, call out what you're feeling.
I'm trying to get it.
Dave, anything?
I mean, I feel stuff, but nothing crazy. Why don't we just lay down on the hill for a while?
It's all over the place. It's like, yeah. It's not dense. But there's so much. This is the area.
Alright, Joe, this is what we're gonna do.
Stop.
We're gonna go over here on the hill and see where we're at here.
Alright, right up.
Oh my god, this place is huge.
Very rocky. I wonder how much
Why aren't I getting hit anymore? Oh. Just had a spike up to 8.
Shut the light off.
I just had a spike up to 8. Come over here. That was a big spike. It's gone. It's gone.
It hits and runs. It hit and...
From 0 to 0.8. It was right when I walked past. Where was it? See, just like I said, it's those waves. Now it's gone.
It's always by the trees, too.
I mean, we had a baseline 0 forever. I walked past this one stone right here. Joe, could you come over here? Do you have anything to flash on this stone just to see what it is? It spiked right here. It jumped. Nothing. Completely worn.
That's why. Oh, look at this. This how weird is that?
Trees growing right into
It
the...
looks like
That is like an alien tree.
right.
You should get a picture of this. But could you... The tree is growing right into the grave. Could you tell what that... There's writing here.
I mean, I'll take a picture. We'll put it on the site.
Robert... Man, I can't... Joe, can we try to get a date off this?
Yeah, we will.
No, but bring your flashlight over. I'm recording. I want to try to get a date live. It's so warm.
Here, I'll take a picture of it out.
Yeah, but try to read the date. This is where it spiked, right when I passed here. Joe took a picture trying to read the date. Try to flash the camera flash just down there alone. Could you read it?
Yeah, Robert Mick Luthen.
Right when I can't read, it's indistinguishable. Right when I walked back here is where I had that spike, and it went away just as quick.
Pilgrims with an Irish name.
All right, here. Come over here.
What was that? Where are you? Where'd you go? Where did you go? I'd like to run the GoPro, but it's just too dark.
Well, another thing is too, like we were talking about Dave's digital camera. I think these
I mean, and that was a big jump. That wasn't 1 or something. 1, 2.
Jay, hang on my stones.
That jumped up to 8. No, but I'm not going to be able to read anything if it's staying away from me because of your stones.
Yeah, but I want to see if I get it more because I'm a magnet.
All right, stones. What stones are these again, Joe?
Oh,
explain to us what these are.
You got Libyan desert glass. Okay. You have what's it called, labradorites, and then you have whoa.
So what do these rocks stand for, essentially?
Huh?
What do these rocks do?
Well, it's all like basically like, all right, the labradorite, it puts a big bubble around you, so the evil stuff can't get in. Things can't
That's good.
get to you.
I like that.
The Libyan desert glass, it basically it blocks things from reading your mind, and brings you to the supernatural, like aliens, ET, like
oh boy, I don't know if I like
space.
That one. Okay.
And
aliens scare me. That's why.
yeah, and
no,
what's it called?
So in other words, these are protection.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That I like. All right, let's move.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna be curious if I see any more EMF spikes now. That was cool. That was cool. Dave is literally laying on the ground.
Guys, just lay down.
Why are you laying down?
I just want to sit as still as possible, as quiet as possible, for as long as possible, and see if we can hear, feel, see, observe anything.
Okay. Will do. Good. I'm going to try to see if I can detect anything else. Again, I know I said it before, but the views originally here must have been just unreal. I mean, just being at the top of this hill. Wow. Not getting anything.
Yeah, see, I'm starting to actually kind of feel things more now.
Everyone, just lay down.
No, but Jay also too. He has moldavite on him, and that's one of the most strongest stones. I mean, there's certain people that won't even touch it because they get in your mouth. They get panic attacks. They feel faintish.
Thanks, Joe.
Dude, I'm letting go of these for a second. I'm really feeling stuff now. I think that is actually blocking things more.
Let me get on this path so I can... Hold on. I'm just going to walk this path. I want to see if I catch those readings again.
Yeah.
And see if the readings coincide with your feelings. There we go.
I forgot I was going to leave the stones in the car just to do an experiment. I don't want. But I already feel in my mind. It's like just kind of now I'm normal and loose again.
Without the stones.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to turn off the recorder because I don't want to miss anything. So I guess I'm just going to let it run. Listeners, if you want to fast forward and not hear us just kind of walking through, waiting for something to happen, by all means, free, do it. But I'm not turning it off in case something happens again. Just basically walking through Burial Hill, EMF detector in hand, Tascam in the other. We're talking ancient. Wow. How many times have I said ancient already? Alright, so these are fairly new, 1954. But this one, what am I looking at here? 1814. Wow. Died, okay. 1814, died 1880. So this stone's from 1880. The history here, man. You may hear my keys rattling in the pocket. It's very hard to see. Got my face buried in this detector. Probably not smart, but what do you do? Yep.
Jay, I'm having everything just shoot me right now, man. I took the stones off, and don't even come near me. He's pushing it away.
Joe doesn't want me to walk near him because of the stones. Just wanted to see if I could corroborate his feelings with EMF spikes.
Guess where I went?
I can't. He won't let me near him.
I'm getting drawn to where you got that spike.
Joe's being drawn
And initially,
to where I had the spike initially.
That's where I felt things before we started heading over here, like I told you.
There's something there. I mean, the detector picked it up.
Remember I told you before we were heading over here?
Yeah.
I'm drawn to this area. Supposedly, this is where, the first people were.
Then I'll continue on, waiting to see. Not feeling anything as intense at all like before. Before was unlike anything I've ever felt. It scared me, frankly. I'm gotta be careful not to walk off the edge of this goddamn hill. That's why I got. Oh, Jesus! That's why I gotta be careful. Still walking through. Still baseline 0. No EMF at all. Almost tripped over a tombstone. Thank you. I'm not getting anything. Unless it's all being drawn towards Joe. He won't let me near him because of these stones. People. Okay, something just... Did you hear that, Joe? Yeah. Is there someone coming up behind me?
No.
A big branch just broke directly behind me. Okay.
I just feel sick to my fucking stomach right now.
Joe's saying he feels sick to his stomach.
After I took those stones off.
He cannot stop swearing, this kid. I'm off the path, walking among tombstones, trying to catch a reading of something, and it's just not happening. Unless Joe's telling the truth, it's all going to him. I mean, why wouldn't he be telling the truth, but you know what I mean. Back up to another path. What is this massive monument here? Let's see if I can find an inscription. This thing is huge. What does it say? I can't tell. Joe's too far away. He's got the flashlight, I don't. This thing is huge. It must reach up into the air, good 40 feet. It's huge. It's got to be something of significance. I just can't read the inscription right now. Joe, I'm getting hit. Getting hit right now. It just spiked to 6.
Yeah, it's in the section.
It just spiked to 6.
I know, I'm like...
3. Down.
Because you know what?
Now, mind you, these are baseline zeros, so anything...
Basically, this is what's happening
It's
now.
gone again.
Huh?
It's gone again. It just
Because
spiked to
when I
6.
come by, it runs away.
No, it spiked way before you got here. When you came here, then it jumped to 3.
It left. I'm telling you.
Do you have your flashlight on you? Could you flash on this?
It's always how it is. It's like I scare it away because it knows.
So Robert Cushman.
It's not just this grave. It's just in here. Like people like Dave and I, it hits and runs.
Fellow
it takes
so
energy because we're strong. Right?
Robert Cushman, fellow exile with the Pilgrims in Holland, afterwards their chief agent in England, arrived here 11 November, Roman numerals. What is that? MDCXXI. Come on, I'm too tired for that. With Thomas Cushman's son. Reached 11 December. Huh. Why the Roman numerals? MDC, what is that? I know, I can't even figure that out. Anyway, I said it on the podcast so someone could figure that out. MDCXXI, I can't think what that is.
I think C is 100, XX is 20, and V is 5, so that's 125.
There's no V in there, though. MDCXX.
The last one's a V.
It's an I. It's a 1, I. Oh, I was looking up at that one there.
Oh.
Anyway, when I was walking around this one, I got an EMF jump to 0.6. Now it's not. Now it's gone again. Huh. Very strange. All right, I guess I'm gonna pause this for a while. You good listeners, thank you for sticking with me during my walkthrough. But I'm gonna pause it for a while. Come back. Okay, we're wrapping it up. It's really late. We have to check into our new hotel here in Massachusetts. Still continue to get feelings. Got a couple little blips on the detector, but we need to call it a night. So before we get to the car and buy these drunk fools, let's do a quick recap here, guys. What do you think? Burial Hill.
My head's kind of messed up right now, and I'm kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, my energy is sapped. I'm fucking tired, man.
You think it's from here?
Yeah, I know it is.
I was tired before, but now I'm really tired.
It's that area. And
those guys are going to start hitting golf balls at us any second now.
Yeah, it's possible.
But whatever. I know the two sections in here. Dude, let's get the fuck out of here.
Anyway, idiots. Drunken idiots. So anyway, we're going to sign off. Definitely haunted. Glad we stopped. Started out, not too good with Hockomock Swamp, but I think it all came full circle and we wound up actually having a really good night here. So, Jason Knight, Joe Erie, Dave Black, signing off. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the SOS-Radio podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes and Google Play Music. Download our free mobile app by searching Supernatural Occurrence Studies on Google Play, Apple App Store, and Amazon App Store. Visit us online for ghostly photos that coincide with our podcasts, videos, and other exclusive content at sos-radio.com, chicagosos.com, and supernaturaloccurrencestudies.com. Follow us on Facebook at SOS-Radio. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chicago Ghosts. We're on YouTube at Chicago's own Supernatural Occurrence Studies. Follow Jason Knight on Google+. Remember, that's Knight, Nyte. Email us anytime at submissions@sos-radio.com. And call or text 872-529-0SOS. That's Chicago area code 872-529-0767. And as always, kind listeners, keep your head up, eyes open, and question everything.
Want to save your soul from hell, arriving on our range. Cowboy, change your ways today. Oh. With us you will ride, rise at the devil's herd.